Lindsay, thank you. 6:02. Recovery efforts continue this morning after the deadly DCA air disaster. In less than an hour and a half at sunrise, crews will start moving some of the plane wreckage.
In the meantime, we learned a lot of new information this weekend about the collision, so we want to break it down for you, what you might have missed. First, crews have recovered and identified the remains of 55 victims. Officials hope to find the remaining 12 as the salvage operation begins later this morning.
Second, we now know the identities of all 3 Army crew members on board the helicopter. The Army officially identified the pilot as Captain Rebecca Lobach. Her name had been withheld at her family's request. And finally, preliminary data recovered from the American Airlines plane indicates that the aircraft was attempting to increase altitude just before the mid-air collision with the Black Hawk chopper happened.
To talk more about where recovery efforts stand this morning, let's head out to Jess Arnold. Jess is live outside of Reagan National Airport with more details now. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning. Yeah, recovery crews are expected to be out here on the Potomac at first light, which happens around 7:15 in the morning. So we'll have our eyes on the river then. And they said they're going to start by clearing the wreckage from the American Eagle jet, and then they'll move on to the Black Hawk helicopter. Now, when it comes to clearing this wreckage, which you can see some of in these new photos that were released over the weekend by the National Transportation Safety Board, that's expected to take 3 days specifically for the American Eagle plane. Then they'll focus on removing debris from the Black Hawk helicopter, but the entire process expected to last until about February 12th, which will be exactly 2 weeks since that tragic crash. Now, the timeline is contingent on priority of lifts, requirements for offload, cataloging of wreckage, the weather, and title considerations, according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Now, the Coast Guard has established a temporary safety zone restricting vessel traffic north of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. As to what caused the collision, that's still unclear. The NTSB said on Saturday that preliminary data showed conflicting readings about the altitudes of the jet and the Army helicopter. Investigators said they're hoping to learn more after recovering data from the helicopter's black box, but that's taking longer to retrieve because it has some water damage. Of course, throughout this entire process, the priority remains to recover and identify every single victim.
We did remove 11 sets of remains yesterday from the wreckage during our operation. So those two number, the 55 includes from that 11. Are we confident that we know where all the victims are and that we will get everybody out? And the answer to that is that we believe we're going to be able to recover all of the victims, but no, we don't know where they all are at this point.
Now, officials are urging anyone who discovers any debris in the water to, instead of touching it, moving it, doing anything with it, to call 911 to get that handled. A unified command is scheduled to give us all an update on this investigation, on the recovery process this afternoon at 4 p.m. Guys.
All right, Jess Arnold with the latest. Thanks so much, Jess.